Sick. Okay. All right, we are JWJA Consulting. My name is Adam Saunders. My partners here are Whitley, Jake, and Jess, and we're going to be running over the issue of how we can better retain Gen Z as well as millennial workers and do a better job of attracting them to our company. The first thing we want to draw y'all's attention to is just the cost that the company incurs every time they're unable to retain one of these workers. Studies have shown that in order to replace an employee, it takes 6 to 9 months of that employee's annual salary in order to replace them. So here at this company, we have an annual salary of $55,000 a year. And so anytime we want to replace one of our employees, it's going to cost us $27,000 to $41,000 in order to do it. Now, we're going to go ahead and pass things over to Jess. She's going to run through our agenda, and we're going to identify the things that we can do to avoid these costs.
I'm going to tag team Whitley. She's got it.
Okay, so our agenda today, we're going to start with the problem, what Gen Z is facing in the workforce today. And then we're going to do a quick solutions overview where we talk about our 3 solutions and problems. The first being employee experience, the second being career progression, and the third being work-life balance. And we're going to end with 3 specific things that you can do today to begin creating a more inclusive space that will retain Gen Z. So we're going to start off with the problem, and Jake's going to explain that a little bit more.
All right. So the main problem that we want to focus on is that as a company, we've been losing 28% of the workforce annually. And this recruiting is costing the company thousands to search for new qualified employees. And in doing so, looking for these employees, we as a company have been spending and losing valuable time that could be used more productively. And I'm going to pass this to Jess to talk about the overview solutions and our first solution.
Thanks, Jake. So to review, our main objective is to attract and retain Gen Z employees. And our 3 main solutions for that are to create a better employee experience, to work on career progression, and to improve work-life balance. So the first of those is creating a better employee experience. So we know that Gen Z employees seek connection with one another, and they also love businesses that showcase diversity, equity, and inclusion. These 2 issues are very easy to resolve through the creation of an employee resource group. So employee resource groups, or ERGs, support individual identities of employees through like a support group, especially these individual identities when they are traditionally marginalized at a workplace. And they're really easy to create. So here we have 5 steps of how you can create an ERG in your company. The first being find people with shared interests, then define the mission, scope, and goals of the ERG, then find an executive sponsor among the higher ups of the company, advertise and recruit members, and then execute meetings and events, and so on and so forth goes the ERG. So there was a survey that was done by Software Advice where they did a survey about whether or not people would be likely to apply or remain at a job that had ERGs. So 70% of 18 to 24-year-olds and 52% of 25 to 34-year-olds said that they would apply to a job because they had ERGs at that company. And half of all respondents said that they would remain at a job because there were ERGs. So obviously, creating these employee resource groups are really important to creating a diverse workforce where inclusion is promoted. These are really important parts of creating a great employee culture, which are really important to Gen Z. Something else that's really important to Gen Z employees is work progression, which Whitley is going to talk about.
So like Jess said, it's extremely important to Gen Z that they feel they can see promotion and career progression in the current company that they work at. According to LinkedIn's Workplace Learning Report, 76% of Gen Z saw learning as the key to their advancement. They also said that if they don't feel invested in, they will leave. So We have two solutions. The first one is a learning stipend. This would be an opportunity for employees to continue their learning within the current position that they have. So this could come in the form of online courses, this could be seminars, this could be books, and the company would provide a monetary stipend so that each of these employees could continue learning so they could be a better employee. On the side of that, there also would be extracurricular learning stipend. So this could be anything from learning a new language to learning how to snowboard. We believe both of these continuous learning platforms will create more well-rounded and better employees and also give them incentive to stay. The second part of this is a time stipend. So we believe that it is important for our employees to feel that we support them in this continuous learning. So we would choose to give them time during their paid work week in which they could work on their work-related or extracurricular learning courses. So just to wrap that up, Gen Z want to see career progression, and the ways to do that is through a learning and time stipend. Another problem and solution that we'll talk about is creating a good work-life balance, and Adam's going to talk about that next.
Yeah, so the Society for Human Resource Management has done a number of studies that has found that Gen Z and millennials, among them, 42% see benefits pertaining to work-life balance as more valuable than any other benefits that the company can provide. Because there's such a unanimous group on this topic, we see it as an area where the company can tap into in order to take advantage of this. Now, we're going to break down work-life balance into two categories. That first one is flexibility from where they work. And the second one is a culture that allows for employees to feel comfortable using their paid time off. Now, going to the first one, availability and work, we see that a lot of Gen Z and millennial individuals are excited to get back into the office, especially after pandemic restrictions have been letting up. But they've also voiced that they want to maintain that same freedom they had during the pandemic to work from where they wanted to. These two generations are the most digital fluent of any group in the workforce we've seen up to this point. And so it makes sense that they want to be able to use that skill in order to create a better work-life balance for themselves. Moving on to the second point of paid time off, the US Travel Association did a study this last year, and they found that 55% of all US workers weren't using all of their PTO or paid time off time. This has been a result of a culture that pressures employees to show commitment to the company by not using that time, or a desire to grow within the company and leadership by showing their dedication. Gen Z and millennial have voiced in many of these surveys that they see this as a toxic work culture, and they want a culture where they are encouraged to use this paid time off since it's a benefit that they've already been given. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to pass things over to Jake. He's going to sum up these last 3 points and go ahead and close us out.
All right. So we want to focus on these three solutions: employee experience, career progression, and work-life balance. So the steps we're going to take, we're going to create 3 ERGs, which are employee resource groups, so that we can enhance the employee's experience and make them feel valued. We also want to establish a learning and time stipend, and also encourage employees to use their PTO so they don't feel that pressure and that they can use it freely when they need to. And once again, we're JWJA Consulting, and we thank you for your time.